Today, I'm decoding the most common statements that narcissists love to use, and we're starting right now. Narcissists are amazing at talking, and yet saying nothing all at the exact same time. And that's their whole shtick, to be purposefully ambiguous. So let's tear apart a lot of different things they might say to you and get to the meat of what they really, really mean. And let's start with, wow. You are really sensitive. You're told that you're sensitive when you take something that they say too seriously, which you should, because more than likely it probably sucks and it's really hurtful. But you're told that you're sensitive, you have thin skin, you better get thick skin. When they want you to stop whining and crying about it, it's basically a nice way of saying, wow, just get over it, because they don't care. Narcissists will never care about how you feel about anything, ever. You are so selfish. Yet another good one. It's normal for somebody narcissistic to turn the tables, so to speak, and say that you are, in fact, the selfish one. This is one of many phrases that they use that kind of attempts to curb your behavior and get you to stop talking about yourself. They would really like it if you would just stop doing anything that involves you, because this is all about them, and it's always going to be. Speaking of always going to be about them, they might say something along the lines of, stop playing the victim. And you really should, because let me tell you, this job belongs solely to the narcissist, and they don't like it when the spotlight isn't on them. You might be told to, stop doing this when you're quote unquote whining in their eyes about something, or maybe wanting a bit of sympathy, and it might be deservedly so. There might have been something done, or you might have been wronged in some way. But again, this is their role. They don't appreciate you stealing it from them. This is where they thrive. They are not going to deal with it. They are the victim. They are always the victim of circumstance, whatever you want to say. You are there to support them. You are there to comfort them. They have no interest in flipping around that role and taking care of you, offering you empathy, sympathy, or really anything. You're making yourself look stupid. And this can be switched up with different combinations of words. It'll be, you're making yourself look stupid, you're making yourself look foolish, you look stupid. Some kind of combination. It all essentially means the same thing. This is uttered to take a hit at your self-esteem, because this is code for basically, you're stupid. You're dumb. You're a fool. Knock it off. I don't like whatever you're doing. You look stupid. You look ridiculous. It's a nice little gaslighting trick to make you start believing that you are in fact stupid and you need to stop what you're doing. And this is a pattern you're going to pick up throughout the video. All of these phrases are said to get a reaction out of you, more than likely to get you to stop doing something or kind of keep doing what they want. But you'll find more often than not, this is to get you to stop doing certain things, behaving certain ways, and what kind of reactions they want you to give them. They all have manipulation behind them, every single one on this list. So we'll move on. It was just a joke. I say the same thing about this that I always do when I talk about this particular line or something like this. There's always a little bit of truth in kidding. Always. Here, though, it's pretty much all truth and no kidding. If something is a joke, it should be intended to be funny. When a narcissist tells you it was just a joke, it's probably nothing more than something meant to insult you, to lower your self-esteem, shock you, upset you, make you back down from a fight, something like that. It's not just a joke. It's something more than likely mean and cruel, and it makes you feel really shitty about yourself. And this also kind of ties into the, wow, you're really sensitive. You just need to go ahead and get over it. It's a lot of manipulation, a lot of gaslighting, and frankly, a lot of really bad blows to your self-esteem and your ego. If you would like to talk about a narcissistic relationship that you are dealing with, feel free to send me an email at BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com for information on my one-on-one chats and coaching. But let's move on to, yes, I'd love to. It's really common that narcissists agree to all kinds of things that they have no intention on following through with, from getting married to picking up kids from school, running to the store, whatever. They give you a fake sense of they have something handled, when in reality, they don't. Narcissists won't do anything, and I mean anything, unless there's a benefit in it for them. The benefit in telling you yes is, in the moment, quite frankly, to shut you up, and it's nothing more and it's nothing less. When they decide not to do it, they'll worry about how to wiggle out of that later. But for the moment, they'll just say yes to make you be quiet. You never care when I do something for you. If by some slim chance a narcissist does something nice for you, after the love bombing phase, of course, rest assured they are never going to let you forget about it. They hold every small thing they do for you over your head, possibly reminding you that they didn't have to help you, or maybe you didn't deserve their help, or you're just so lucky that they had you. They will constantly remind you when they have gone so damn far out of their way for you, and that's pretty much an expression because they usually don't go very far at all. Funny how all you do for them, though, is forgotten pretty much as soon as you do it for them. So up next, stop showing off and trying to seem so great. Narcissists are extremely unhappy when you take the spotlight off of them. They want to be the center of attention. Don't you dare brag on yourself, your accomplishments, do anything that might even remotely threaten them and their very frail, fragile ego, which consists of like a lot, by the way. Or you're going to hear that you're some kind of show off, you brag, you're arrogant, you're rude, etc. This is basically a really nice way of saying, stop stealing my spotlight, I don't appreciate it. Narcissists have no shame for taking away anything that might bring you any kind of joy, and basically just take a big shit on any parade that you might have. Next, you sure have an active imagination. There's obvious gaslighting right here, making it sound like things that you're saying are completely made up, imaginary, all in your head. Along with that, you might fall into the you're crazy, you need help category. We're going to get to that on this list. This is basically all done to discredit you, make you question yourself. Again, it's gaslighting 101. Oh yeah, well, they're an idiot. This is also common. This is the narcissist talking shit about other people to you. It's, again, a pretty common thing. Most narcissists like to do this, and a lot of times it just looks like idle gossip and garbage and who really cares. But what the narcissist means, the real decoding behind this, is when they tell you that someone's an idiot, they're telling you, don't trust this person. This person can't be believed. They don't know what they're talking about. Something along those lines. Always be on the lookout when somebody with a lot of narcissistic traits tells you to discredit certain people in a roundabout way. There's always a reason why they might not want you to believe something that person might tell you. It's also kind of done just to shit on people and make everybody seem inferior to them. So there's kind of like a nice little mix up there. But again, there's always some reason behind why they're doing it. They're doing it to get something. Next, I probably can't remember. Narcissists and all toxic people really in general have an amazing memory. They really do, because they only really remember what they want to. If a narcissist suddenly can't remember why they came home at 4 a.m. because basically they don't have a good excuse, so they tell you they don't know, but they can tell you something shitty, quote unquote, that you did like 4, 5, 6 months ago. I mean, I gotta tell you, that's just a really special quality, don't you think? Selective memory. That's a skill that I'm just not quite sure how to obtain yet. Oh yeah, well, they're a liar. This is basically the same as they're an idiot. It's something negative about a person that makes you trust them less, wonder about them, maybe even back off from that person a little bit now, because somebody who you do trust, the narcissist, who you shouldn't trust, but you might not know that at the time, they're telling you, well, this person's a liar. Something like that. Narcissists will always tell their new conquest that their last lover was a liar, just in case the two ever do speak. The new supply won't believe anything the old flame has to say. Narcissists love to call people liars. They are the only person that they want you to believe. They want to be the source of information. You go to them for all of your answers. Everybody else is stupid, a moron, they're a liar, they're this, they're that. So they only want you coming to them for their really shitty information, their lies, and their version of the truth. You are really aggressive. You're abusive. You're a narcissist. I've just kind of lumped all those in there together. When somebody tells you that you're aggressive, especially if you're an empathic, possibly codependent person, you back off, and that's pretty natural. When somebody tells you you're abusive, mean, cruel, narcissistic, it's all the same common denominator here. You know, essentially, it says, you're mean, I don't like you, back off, you're hurting my feelings. You're not actually hurting, their feelings, and if you are, boo-hoo, oh well. But what this is really designed to do is to make you stop whatever you're doing. You're probably doing something that's making them really, really nervous, really, really upset. You might even be crushing the ego and hurting their feelings. But more than likely, you're trying to hold them to a standard. You're trying to do something that they don't like. Again, that's something else we're going to get to further on down the list. But throwing these lines around also works because sometimes you do back off. But a lot of times what you do when someone says you're abusive, you're a narcissist, you're mean, you're aggressive, you start defending yourself. Defending yourself with a narcissist never goes well. All they want is that reaction. They're not really caring about what's coming out of your mouth. They want to see you get upset, cry, get angry, lash out. If you lash out, that's actually reactive abuse, which now they can say, look, you're abusive. Look at you yelling at me. It's a whole kind of a game that goes round and round and round. Let's see. What do we have next here? They are so dramatic. Same as the last, couple of ones that I've gone over here. Not really anything new to say. Same as they're a liar, they're this, they're that. But again, you have to kind of wonder when somebody who is dramatic as fuck says that somebody else is dramatic, when the narcissist pot is calling the kettle a narcissist, it really is quite curious. So, why is this person so dramatic? They're probably not. But again, it goes into the whole, they're a liar, they're an idiot, they're this, they're that. It's again done so that you don't believe anybody else. This helps with their isolation tactics and techniques. They always want you to feel alone. It all kind of melds together and goes hand in hand. You made me do this. You made me like this. You made me this way. Hoo-hoo. Can you smell the blame game? I can smell the blame game that's happening here. Super mature. We are not responsible for these folks acting the way they do. Pure and simple. If we were, you would think they'd fuck off a long time ago and leave us alone. They were made like this long before we even knew who they were. And as far as what we quote unquote make them do, I'm sorry, these are grown ass people. I'm a grown ass person. Nobody makes me do anything I don't want to do. I do exactly what I want to do. So do you, and so do they. They behave the way they do because, like children, like teenagers, it gets them what they want. But that's some real nice blame shifting, though. I mean, really, isn't it? Don't take responsibility for somebody else's piss poor behavior. Honestly, just be done with this shit. But don't take the blame. Most important thing, you didn't make them like this. Something definitely made them this way, but it has nothing to do with you. The irony is we take a lot of this stuff so personally, and we take an awful lot of responsibility for something that we had no hand in, we had no control over. This was done, like I say, long, long, long before we knew who these people were in our lives. Here's a good one. How could you do this to me? Really, really good one. The good old, how dare you do this to me? And this is passing the buck, again, throwing all the blame onto somebody else. Of course, that someone else is you. How could you do whatever it is? More than likely, you've done nothing more than react to something super shitty they did in the first place. And everything probably could have been completely avoided had they chosen to behave like a responsible, reasonable adult. But how could you do this to me? It's all your fault. You're bad. Blah, blah, blah. It's gross. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Sure. Yep. And all those other one-word lame-ass answers are what we're going to get into next here. Things like that should be very clear and present sign that you're being ignored for the most part and just kind of like semi-placated. You're being told what you want to hear, or maybe not necessarily what you want to hear, but this is like the literal bare minimum of words that you'll be given so that it seems like this lifeless robot has a pulse at this point. It's just done to kind of move the conversation along. It shows they're bored of you. Again, they're ignoring you. They don't really care. Sometimes it's done just to make you be quiet and go away. Why did you have to say that? Or a nice combination of, oh, come on, did you just have to say that? Something along those lines. I also really enjoy when this one is kind of thrown around. You're going to hear this when you do things like call them out on their bullshit, bring up something they don't want you to bring up, probably cheating or exes or money. It's something sensitive. It's a soft spot you're going to touch. You're going to nudge one of their vast number of insecurities, perhaps, and then you're going to hear something like this. More blame shifting. Everything is placed onto you. You started all this. You started the fight. You just had to say it. Everything was fine till you opened your mouth and you said this. The conversation that you have or whatever it is, now this is going to be worse because you've said something. Things were fine till you opened your mouth, so on and so forth. It's a really, really, really super mature way to handle things. You need therapy, you're crazy. Again, I lump these all in together. They're basically the same thing. There's something wrong with you. You don't act right. You need help. You have a disorder or disorders. You have issues that you need to work on. It's really common in a narcissistic relationship that a narcissist will tell you something like, well, we'd be fine if you would just get help. We would be better if you acted right. Things would go more smoothly if you. There's never anything on their end that needs to change. And that's when it should become very clear that you're in a one-sided relationship, which is something you have to immediately exit. If it's one-sided, it's never going to be anything but that. To have something healthy, two people have to be on the same page and working together. It's not one person barking orders at the other that they have all the issues, they're the one who needs to change, and they're what's going to make the relationship go better. That is absolute bullshit. And don't buy it for 1 second. It's not to say that we don't need to work on things. We do. But so the fuck do they. I want the best for you. Ooh, this is a trap. Do not engage. Repeat. This is a trap. Do not engage. Abort mission. Back away. Do whatever you got to do. If a narcissist actually wanted what was best for you, they'd provide you with a sense of really, really normal things you get in a relationship. Safety, security, love, protection, validity, and an onslaught of things that they don't ever give you and they don't ever plan to. Narcissists, again, do not care at all what happens to you, as long as you keep doing what they want you to do. There's never going to be anything more than that. However, small caveat here. If they truly wanted what was best for you, they'd fuck off and leave you alone, which is done, but only once you're pretty much deemed useless to them. You have changed. You're always going to be told that you have changed. You've changed, you're controlling, you're not the way you used to be. When you start doing things like holding them accountable for their actions, making them take responsibility, you refuse to allow them to change the subject and wiggle out of their bullshit. You hold to your word, your standard, your boundaries. Basically, you do change. But it's a change they don't like. You're getting more independent. You're building your self-esteem. Again, you're holding them accountable, making them take responsibility. And this is where they try and tell you, basically, that they don't like this new you. And nor should they. Let's face it. You're gaining power. When you gain, somebody's losing. Guess who that is? Who's throwing a high-toned hissy about it? Who doesn't like it? So, of course, you're going to be told you have changed. Because you more than likely have. And I think we all do reach that point. I love you. This one just hurts every time I have to talk about it in a video, and I've done quite a few videos where I have to talk about something basically right along these lines. Once you uncover what's happening in a relationship like this, this one just fucking sucks. Short and sweet, you are loved when you do what you're expected to do. Watch how fast they turn on you when you stop doing what is demanded and expected of you. That's not love. Abuse isn't love. Making somebody feel like trash on a continual, constant basis isn't love. So remember all of those things. There's plenty more of, really everything that comes out of their mouth. You kind of have to decode, get your own dictionary, make your own language out of just what in the hell they're actually talking about. But if you actually want to dive deeper into the mind of a narcissist, then you definitely want to check out the video on the screen for you now about all the things narcissists are never, ever, ever going to do. There are also more videos down in the description, and please hit that subscribe button for more content. Thank you so much. Have a great day, Survivor, and take care of yourself.